Chilly here with Sirius Dallas Moon, and the moon is slowly approaching Aldebaran, which opposes Lilith. And um, I just want to address a little bit of an update for this big stellium, Sun closing synodic cycle with Saturn soon, in the 8th house of NATO, and Saturn getting dangerously close to Mercury, Venus, Mars of NATO. And all of this is happening right before Uranus ingresses to NATO, which we know will be expressed in some sort of a polarization um, amongst the leadership around funding and or directive of war. And structurally, it's interesting to see how, albeit the leadership or the European leadership is not quick to join a literal world war, there is also a structural issue where if NATO doesn't ally up, then it might run into um, such a case where Europe is attacked and United States gets into splendid isolation. Now, when I recorded my episode about how to beat fundamentalist regimes, I addressed all the fundamentals of fundamentalist regime, namely energy siphoning based trafficking, looting, okay, and the relevant esoterics um, as a core issue to address under whichever structure, because we can have the best structure in the world, but without that, we have basically either made a Pyrrhus win, it's going to be a very costly win, and we see, for example, the United States had a win, or what they describe as a win, but the oil prices are up. Good thing, bad thing, who knows? Um, and without actually treating to the fundamental level of abolishing fundamentalist regimes, we haven't effectively beaten fundamentalism, which will manifest in further complications and troubles. Um, so Neptune in Aries calls us to unify the thinking and completely innovate on the thinking rather than energy siphoning based economy, sovereignty based economy. Zero rape, zero slavery is Saturn in Aries. Some of my colleagues called Sun Saturn conjunction as the death of the old man because Saturn is considered fallen in Aries. I would not go to such extremities. What is the death of the old is not the old man. Because what is an old man? Is a man that haven't moved with the spirit of the times. Is a man that's stuck as saying the Me Too went too far when we're a decade after the Me Too, paying for the complications of not basically abolishing the infrastructure that created the situation where we are today, where right now Europe could be attacked, let's say, by Iran, and the United States can go into splendid isolation, or at least have as much a delay as NATO did upon. Now, here's the thing: if United States goes into splendid isolation, it basically means that we don't have a full-on Article 5. And so if one of the countries in Europe is attacked, the others will wait for United States, or they would have to operate outside of Article 5. Because it's not a unanimous. Now, first of all, bureaucracy is a great way to suspend a war or delay a war, but it's also a fantastic card that works for Iran regime, which is kind of fundamentalist. And yet we cannot say Iran is fundamentalist without abolishing fundamentalism within our own societies, cultures, countries, and so on and so forth. Um, Caron on the Rahu of NATO, really emphasizing the need to curate something. Um, and this is a deacon of Andromeda. And with Aries there is exactly those things, the energy siphoning based on again, the upbringing of children and so on and so forth, that permeate anything, whether it's country, alliance, and so on. um, and this is how NATO got itself a little bit entangled. But that structure can only work with what is Saturn being considered here the old man. The me too went to farmland. That mentality doesn't beat fundamentalism. It's not new ways to do old things. Um, and again, there's a lot of good things going for, especially that breakdown, that fundamental crisis is a point where what collapses is basically the bubble that was created by energy siphoning. Now, more things in the background. Lilith in the 10th house. Uranus is not ingressed into Gemini yet. Moon will be opposing Lilith from Aldebaran. Mercury in its shade period. On the degree where it turned direct and where it conjoined Rahu. So, yeah, there is still time. But all in all, Sun is closing the cycle with Saturn. The old redemption, energy siphoning, militarist way, not just for NATO, for any alliance, for any army, for any commanding position, is no longer. People want sovereignty, and they've also come to, even accidentally, do the shadow work to have basically, I'm not saying earn their sovereignty, but become prepared to sovereign up. Sun is exalted in Aries, Mars is fallen in Aries. It's not Mars. Saturn is fallen in Aries. Which means that courageousness takes precedence over basically what is, how should I say that, traditional but not aligned with the heart. Okay, basically what Saturn is also death, and with the Sun is the death of what is not aligned with the heart. I'm particularly sorry for the people who try to manifest somebody dying of any heart issue at this time. And Yeah, because basically to heal from that, one would have to speak what is on their heart or act in accordance with the heart. And Mercury here tells us that the act can be an act of speech. And Mars is names. So, um, not the most opportune time to, let's say, try to assassinate somebody.